Hey, if we want to build the future, we're gonna need some things.
Like a high-speed internet connection that can turn my ideas into reality.
Like the skills to become the world's most powerful coder.
The resources to make more films with people who look like me.
Like me.
Like me.
Like me. Like me. Like me. Like me.
Like the tools to start my sustainable shoe business.
Way more space to collaborate.
Yeah, that's better.
Through Project Up, Comcast is committing $1 billion to open doors for the next generation so they can build a future of unlimited possibilities.
You want a healthier lifestyle, but how do you get started? Then stick with it. By listening to the Fitness Revolution podcast with Shay Sandifer, of course. Your journey to greater well-being starts now.
Well, hello. Welcome to Fitness Revolution. I'm Coach Shay, your wellness guru. Happy Black History Month, the last day, but as we know, we celebrate all year. And I'm so excited to have my last guest of the month, which is a friend of mine who's doing amazing work, not just in the community, but throughout Minnesota and throughout the United States that people are able to connect with. As we've been highlighting wonderful individuals and leaders in the community, I thought what better person to end this month with what she's doing. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She owns and is the founder of Black Women's Wealth Alliance, BWWA, and it is a historically Black-owned and led institution, leading itself as a necessary asset, an equal leader created by and for historically Black women. They provide wealth education, services, and business technical support. And she has served over 4,000 Black women and provided over 1.3 million in small capacity grants. Please welcome founder and owner and CEO, Miss Kenya McKnight. Hi.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having
boss
me.
lady. Yes. Thank you so much for being here. And on this, sometimes people think because it says fitness that we're just talking about fitness. And for me, Kenya, fitness is about our whole well-being, right? Being physically well, being mentally well, and spiritually, and definitely something that we need to talk about in the Black community is financially well, right? That's your real fitness right there. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start and where this passion came from.
Yeah. Well, I got my start from, it was an off-spin of my Bush Fellowship in 2012. And I had been doing all this work in community for many years. And in that work with my Bush Fellowship, I was doing transportation, regional planning work. And you're seeing all this stuff. And I'm thinking like, whoa, we're not ready for that. We need to think more long-term and deeper strategies. And I thought about what's the best way for me to show up in community, because clearly what I was doing was not what I wanted to keep doing. So I went to Oakland internship, learned a lot from PolicyLink there. And it just kind of really brought me back to my roots. And I'll sum this up and say, when I first started my community work as like a little 23-year-old, kind of dating myself there, I created this organization called SPOKE, Sisters Proud of Knowledge Evolving. And I thought, because I was freshly in the Nation of Islam, and it was like, right. So I thought, the Black woman is God. Let me do all this help work for the Black woman to lift us up. And of course, I didn't know anything as a 23-year-old like that. So all these years of doing work brought me back to that, via my Bush Fellowship. And so I thought, thinking about our economic status as a people and learning about Black women, I thought that the best work I could do is serving Black women in this space. And so in 2014, I organized 20 Black women to think and talk through our financial realities. And it was very telling in that room. And we met at McDonald's on West Broadway for maybe 6 months thinking. And so that's how I started with the Black Women's Wealth Alliance.
I love that. So I was blessed when I first got my start almost 8 years ago. when I was really moving into that like north side sector and just like really finding my community and what I was working on and my goals, is I was introduced to you. I don't know if you remember, who introduced us?
Nita Catalog, right?
Nita. And she's
Yeah.
like, Shay, you really got to meet Kenya. I was like, I don't know her. And she's like, yeah, meet her. You meet her. And so I look you up. I was like, okay. And so I remember inboxing you. And you immediately respond. Like, you're like, hey, da, da, da. And we were chatting back and forth. You're like, you know what? Can I just call you? I was like, absolutely, because I hate this. We called and had this amazing conversation. And I remember, I don't know if I said you are a plethora of information. And you immediately met with, and I had a different business partner at the time, and you met us at Breaking Bread, because I'm leading up to what I want to say. And you were just like, I definitely love what you're doing and I want to help invest. And I tell everyone, no matter who I meet, that Kenya McKnight gave me my first $1,000, which at the time, $1,000 felt like 100,000, right? Because it did little stuff like printing and able to create like just even a landing page, like things that people don't understand. And I knew what I needed to do. I just didn't have the know-how, right? I was like, how can I take this corporate and this knowledge and this education and blend it together in this world that I wasn't used to? And I always say thank you for that, because it took, a couple hour conversation for you to take time out of your day and what you were building to believe in me and my future. So kudos to you. And I love how you've kept growing with women. And every time I meet someone that deals with you, they're just like, oh my God, this grant like helped me, right? Whether it was 500 or it was 5,000, like it helps Kenya so much on what you're building, but also the knowledge, right? Of how we can change the trajectory of our wealth, right? We're paid less than white men, we're paid less than white women, but we're doing quadruple, double, 100% more work. And we are the highest grossing of entrepreneurship right now in the United States. And that's what you're teaching them. So what is that like, being able to teach people how they can grow their own wealth?
It's a task, and it's a journey, because I even in the process of all of this was learning myself, a lot in the beginning, and I'm still learning because there's so many layers and levels. But I think what it is for me is demanding, but it's also very necessary. It's I love inspiring other Black women, to be great and to step into their greatness and be okay with that. I think that being in environments like what we're in kind of beats us down with self-doubt. We're a smaller population in Minnesota, so we compete and we're just stomping all over each other. Right. And so for me, I always like to just inspire Black women to make sure that, they feel better leaving me than when they came. And that they have more information and more ways to just move their mission and visions forward with more confidence. And so, and more clarity about their own position and power, as Black women. That's really important to me. So it's a privilege. It's an honor. It's an important space that I don't take for granted. I can't be that for everybody all the time. I get that, but I do what I can. And ultimately, my goal is for everybody to feel, be, and be positioned better than they came better than they are when they came to me. So
love that. So in 2020, we were in the midst of civil unrest. You were grinding and building, and I remember all that. And I remember you coming to me. I'm gonna tell a little personal story, and you're just like, I'm gonna have to give up one of my offices. Just it's too much right now. I can't afford that, and I don't want to be left in a bad place. And I was like, it's okay. And, we were having really good girlfriend conversation, and, just like, it was frustrating. And I remember you were frustrated. And then fast forward, and this is how you know she's a bad mama jamma. She's the only person I know, y'all, that went from giving up her place of rent and in 1 year bought the whole damn building. I remember I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, there's huge missing components here. Like, no one does that. Like, who are you? You're that queen, right? Like, No, no
Oh,
one in
thank
April of
you.
2020 was like, I can't pay for this. And then next year come back and buy the whole building. You didn't buy the office, you bought the whole building. So
I
tell
did.
them about this monument of like it hit news, it was everywhere that Kenya McKnight went from this to buying the building on the block. Tell them about your building.
Bad. So I own, I own the 1200 West Broadway building, known
Yes,
as the home to Breaking Bread Cafe. That's
yes,
the landmark. It's a big 28,000 square feet building. It has 2 basements, 6,000 square feet total, 2 commercial kitchens, a mid-sized restaurant, outdoor patio, and 16 commercial suites. And it's huge.
just a
It's
little something, y'all. Just a little something. She
yeah,
bought.
it's huge, and it's a big deal. I used to sell cookies on that corner when I were as a kid. I grew up
Yeah,
on the north side working
yeah,
at the cookie cart. And no, I couldn't keep up with the rent. And it was kind of one of those things where, the work I was doing, I wasn't being paid for, because,
yeah.
when you in your mission vision work, sometimes it's like that. I was
Yeah,
taking care of everything except for myself.
yeah,
And I realized at the end of the year, 2019 was the brokest year I ever experienced. And I'm like, at the end of everything I've done, I felt unsupported, unseen, all of that, and uninterested in continuing that piece. So I was like, I quit for right now. I didn't give up, but I was like, I'm good. And
right.
it wasn't, I didn't do everything that I had wanted to do with the Black Women's Wealth Alliance, but I did accept that if that's what God had for me to do, then I was good with that. And I was going to focus on me. I started applying for jobs. I was even going to work at Menards because I'm a gardener. So I love, so it's like I can get discounts.
And you told me all this. I was like, no, wait, what are you doing?
And I had some friends bugging me like, we need you to work on this racial equity stuff for Black businesses. And I'm like, I don't, I'm done with politics, all that. I'm good.
Yeah,
And he was like,
right.
just come on, it's only 10,000. And, I moved out of my office because I had to pay rent at home and not the office. I made that decision. That was hard because my ego, my pride, I've been there for almost 4 years. And people looking like that's the Black Women's Wealth Alliance and she can't even keep up with all that stuff. And so
Yeah,
you have to work through that part of your ego.
absolutely.
And I had $12,000 to my name, and that was to a contract I had with the city of Minneapolis. And somehow I was supposed to work with 30 Black women in a year and show them all about income and wealth building with 12,000 and take care of myself. And it just wasn't working. So, anyways, fast forward, I took the contract after like 3-4 calls from my friends, and I put my head down. Like mid-April, and I just got busy.
Right.
I got busy doing the work, and I was making money, but I wasn't paying attention to it because I was hiring Black women to run a business resource center on the north side to serve Black businesses who were impacted by COVID. And when I looked up, I had made my first $1 million. I was in a contract to buy the building that I had moved out of, and I had invested over $500,000 back into over 300-400 businesses, and more really. And I had hired 14 women, and I became an employee of my own company. I had 4 other employees, and I was in a whole nother position that I really never imagined prior to, because I gave it up, meaning I got out my own way and was like, I'm good. And God was like, thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have more for you. Here you go.
Right.
So that's what happened. And I've been on this journey ever since. And now I'm redeveloping the building into a holistic wellness complex. And I've raised close to $9 million to renovate it at the end of this year.
And what's the name of the building?
Zara. So I named the building Zara, which means to be radiant and to flourish. It's like a flower, and it's feminine in nature.
And it has flourished. It has turned out beautiful. The outside work, I haven't been in there recently, but I know I drive by it, and I know you've done a lot on the outside that draws people in to bring them in. So right there, that's a full revolution, right, of what we can do when we really just get out of our own way and learn about our own wealth that we can create. And I think that's the whole story right there that women can, relate to, and also be like, okay, I can do this, right? Like your story yesterday does not have to be your story forever in that journey. That's just part of the journey, right?
Absolutely.
And we've all been broke, like if you're an entrepreneur, you've been broke at one time. It's just, I don't care who you are. And so for that, that's what I always loved about you was that, okay, this is where I'm at. You didn't live in the negative, right? You like, let me get, because it's easy, right? To stay there like, oh, I'm broke and I got this last $1,000 or whatever. What am I going to do? You flip that into a positive, wrote down, research, and got in there and did the work, and look how it turned around. I mean, that's really, I won't say it's a miracle because you did the work, but really the true story of what you can do. You can really create
Anything
your
is
own wealth.
possible.
You
Anything
can create
is
your own
possible.
wealth. Yep. And I love that you've created your own wealth. And I think as Black women and as a fellow entrepreneur, it does happen because I know I watched you and I was like, okay, as my friend and someone I look up to, I can do this and I can change this too. And don't give up just because it's tough right now, because it gets easier and easier and easier. And there's always trials and tribulations, right? When people think you got it, everybody thinks you, even when they don't realize the bills that come along with it, right?
Oh
like,
yeah, maintaining is, you can get
more money,
anything.
more money,
Maintaining
more
is something
problems,
different.
right?
Well, and you've done a wonderful job modeling yourself as a very ambitious,
Oh, thank you.
courageous, creative, mama entrepreneur, navigating life and,
Yeah.
through all your challenges and getting your
Mhm.
babies through. And, because it's not easy being out here. You run into the social circles and all those dramas, and just, it's a lot, to be out here. And, it's not for the faint. That's 100%.
Man.
And it's, some days you're not sure. I mean, I've been unsure a lot, and sometimes I still am. And that's actually pretty good. You don't need to doubt yourself, but you don't need to be overconfident. You just need to be open enough while you're still driving forward to your vision, and just trust the process. It's not, I've never in the beginning thought I was qualified to do the work I was doing, because I thought about what I didn't have. And at one point I was watching other people's plates, oh, they getting this and and it was just like, well, what's on your plate? And when I got focused on my own plate, right? And I'm only just getting started. Like that's great.
Just scratching the surface, right?
Right. And even that building isn't for me. It's for Black women entrepreneurs. I have 11 in there right now. And so it's about being in service to people, and you can build wealth in the process. But for me, it isn't just about my wealth building. It's about how I leverage opportunities to help other Black women build wealth. And so my collaborative, collective work is important, and the personal self is very important, because you got to have enough resources to stabilize yourself personally for your own mental wellness, spiritual wellness, all of that, in order to make the business work. And once you get the wealth, you have to do the work to maintain and grow it, and so there are layers and levels, to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, tell them how they can get in touch with you so that they can be a part of this amazing space. So website, tell them all that real quick.
Yeah, you can, personally hit me up on LinkedIn. I like to connect in the business world. The Black Women's Wealth Alliance, bwwa-us.com. We are rebranding, so we do come back in April, just so you know. We're not open really, but you can hit us up and we'll keep you on the list. Sign up for our newsletter. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Fitness Revolution. You are a force to be reckoned with. Bravo to you, Black Queen, on what you're doing for the community and for yourself, right? For your own fitness revolution journey. As always, to our audience, inhale the positive, exhale the negative, and make sure you follow us on all social media, but also follow these guests that are creating all types of things for you to be involved with and for you to connect with. All right. See you guys next week. This is Shay with Fitness Revolution, your wellness guru. Thank you, Kenya.
Check back next week for more on living your healthier lifestyle, and share previous episodes of Shay's podcast with your friends. Log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Boost your immunity and help protect your community. COVID-19 is still here, and it's not too late to get your booster. Staying up to date with vaccines can help build protection that has decreased since your last shot and provide better protection against newer variants. Boosters are an important part of protecting yourself from getting seriously ill from COVID-19. To learn more and schedule your appointment, visit ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine.
When I walked across that stage at my high school graduation, I was excited, but confused about my next step. Then I walked through the doors at Doherty Family College. Doherty Family College is part of the University of St. Thomas. It's a 2-year college that lets you earn an associate's degree and puts you on a path to your bachelor's degree. Classes are small, so I have a personal relationship with professors committed to my success. Like the name says, they treat us like family. They call us scholars because they believe we could do anything we put our minds to. They set us up for excellence with free tutoring, and that's not the only thing that's free. Laptops, books, even breakfast and lunch, and bus fare. That's part of the package here at Doherty Family College. It's even free to apply. So do like I did. Go to dfc.stthomas.edu and set up a tour. We'd be excited to welcome you to our family here at Doherty Family College.
Racial covenants had structured every aspect of life.
Keeping Black people in Black spaces.
Slavery's history is Minnesota's history.
So much of working towards racial equity is around telling our own stories.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake them out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.